another episode of Fli-City Blackout. And I got my two kings with me here. I got DeJuan and brother D.B. Roberts.
Again, I always want to say hello to our community, and again, remember, I'm here with Diane Roberts, pronoun, unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
I know that's
I
right.
love
Man. He hit us off with that during the onboard, and we've been saying it's unacceptable ever
It's
since.
unacceptable.
It's
Absolutely.
definitely. I am your brother DeJuan. You know what I'm saying? You call me your brother, and you know definitely a member of the Flint community. You know, a community that we love and respect, and continue to keep working and dedicating ourselves for total robust, right? Community that we like to see.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. Another, like you said, it's another day, another opportunity to live our truths, another opportunity to be great, but then also have a good conversation as we normally do.
Absolutely.
That's
Definitely.
right, that's right.
So how y'all feel? How y'all week been going?
Well, extremely exciting. You know, again, we have to really give all honors to, our Creator, and however you define that. But we all have to really make sure that, we do more to embrace. And my sister always talked about being available and really working to give one another flowers while we're alive. So,
Absolutely.
that's been somewhat my mindset lately. Is really working to just be my better self.
Absolutely. I've been having a great week. I've just been having a great week because I'm making it a great week. I refuse for it not to be a great week. So every day been great. Just getting greater and greater because I'm choosing greatness every day. I'm choosing to be happy. I'm choosing to be positive, and I'm just choosing to be powerful every day and more every day. So it's been great. No complaints here. It doesn't do any good anyway.
That's right, yeah.
No,
What about you?
it really don't. Definitely it's been a very, very busy week, I think, that comes with the territory, and I've been enjoying the week myself, and I've been just kind of taking it all in and thankful for the opportunity to be here. I think that's first and foremost when we wake up every day, and we wake up. I think that's a blessing, and in good health and able to move around and do the things that's necessary to continue to keep pushing through. So
All right.
it's been another insightful week for sure.
And even when you say that, a lot of times we get, kind of frustrated with the daily activities because we see, such debauchery taking place with, when we think about the city council, when we're dealing with the leadership in our community from the Board of Education, and now we got several people that have resigned. And again, so often, Baldwin was very clear. James Baldwin was very clear. And this is something that, we really don't do that much as far as engaging in history and how it applies today. Because you think about it, why did white people create niggers? If you think about that whole concept, until this country really comes to terms with the evil that this country has really implemented and across the world because it's been exploited.
Right.
And so we have a Ridgeway White mob foundation. A lot of times when you look at those structures, because America is a structure, is a system. And so when you think about the plantation system, there's even that General Motors, Chrysler, Ford, all those systems pretty much work the same. And the two people of right consciousness, when you think about what they just did in Texas, a woman, how she know in 6 weeks that she's pregnant? I mean, you think about the voting restrictions that they done implemented. And the list goes on and on and on what Texas is doing. And what happens a lot of times, guys, they didn't use the mask, or these people, like you say, less than half of Americans right now have actually been vaccinated. And we can use a mask or we can use fear to continue to divide us. And until we come to terms with honesty and how we deal with one another, that's why I was really warm. My heart was really, I felt engaged over the weekend when we were engaged at the Chaldean store.
Wasn't it beautiful?
Even like you said, and what we got to do, even though we have some issues in some areas with different groups of people, we have to think about the higher calling and what is the bigger purpose.
Right.
Because a lot of times they are behaving too, being culturally conditioned to act and behave in a certain way also.
Right.
The one brother walking around with his gun on his belt, all that kind of thing, was really deploring to me personally, right? So a lot of times when we engage in situations, we got to be mindful about the bigger picture.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You talking about the store somebody walking around with that?
Yeah, one of the brothers, yeah.
From the store?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. we definitely want to have conversations and dialogue, just so that way we don't, that don't be offensive to the people that patronize the store, right? And we don't even set that environment. I know folks be talking about, creating an environment. Every time that we go out, we come out in love. So I think that's the type of energy that we bring. And so we don't really look for problems or issues or, but we always definitely prepare for whatever. But I think that we always, really kind of create this positive environment and, and folks just really like to engage and have, nurturing relationships going on. So I think that's the type of things that we want to continue to bring to the Flint community, because now more than ever, we need to be able to really showcase the love and value for each individual in this community.
Right.
Where we don't have to feel like our safety is being threatened, or, we got to be walking around with guns against each other, or we can't be in certain areas because we got conflict. No, it should be over for that way of living, and now is the time for us to step up and do those things. And I think these block parties have been kind of ushering in an opportunity for us to really get together and have that true dialogue.
Right. And I think on that note, that's excellent the way you laid that out. And again, how do we really show our community about loving one another? A lot of times when you have been unable to love or been taught not to love, in the end, that goes back to the history of this country have divided us. And many times when you think about the north side, south side, or even rivalries, you think about certain colors teams have, all that's a rivalry. So we've been psychologically, culturally conditioned to believe certain things, and that's why a lot of times when we don't really identify it, when we really don't identify those things, that's why we are behaving. We don't even think about our behavior. We say, "Oh, I'm for the Bucks," "I'm for Beecher," or what have you, which is good and it's fun when you say it funly. But when it gets down to, I'm saying that I'm down for this cause and the cause may be wrong, that becomes a problem. And I think that's where I'm going with what I was saying about, the brother displaying his weaponry, and then those of us, that may have weapons on us but not displaying them. Right. Again, I think when you talk about how do we start coming in love and behaving in such a way, and so that's critical.
I think that we have to always remember that we have to show ourselves as friendly, right? We have to, if you want to be friendly, you have to show yourself as being friendly, and to receive that back, you have to do those things. And so in order to get some love, you got to give some out as well, right? And I think that is something that we are missing and lacking in teaching our young children when they come up, right? Because we're not teaching them, in order to have a friend, you got to show yourself friendly, right? And because you can't just walk into a room and just expect for everybody to just instantly love you or instantly become your friend. You have to exemplify all those things that you want. So what you give out, you get back, right? And so whatever you put out in the universe, as well as in a room full of people, whatever you give out, you expect to receive back. Just like we were saying last night, a smile is universal. If you smile at somebody, they automatically, relax. And you feel like that you are approachable and you can talk to this person or whatever. So I think those are the things that we are lacking in the communities, when we go in places or even in stores or wherever that we're going. I think those are the things, because we always think that somebody is on us or wants something from us or has not our best interest at heart, right?
And I think it's elegant when you say it like that, because even your shirt displays, hugs for unity, and those are going for $25. Anybody interested? And then before we get off the air, she's going to show the back. This is through Neighborhood Without Borders in honor of Sindhaji Ganges. We've been working on a project called Undoing Systemic and Institutional Racism in his name. He's a professor at the University of Michigan. They ran out of the University of Michigan because some of his stands was really making sure that black and brown people graduated. But again, when she wore this today, and I was really I was empowered, because again, when you think about, even if you say in your mind and in your spirit, we are less likely to hurt someone that you are hugging. And on that note, we don't hug our community, because if you think about, school started the other day, and most of our children are being bused. And back in the day, we walked to school. You guys got to think about what's going on with our children. And a lot of times we really falling short as far as our group community responsibility. Some of the parents at their school board meeting, they were right as far as you know, if Mott is gonna dictate, like an authoritarian or like a fascist type of government saying that unless you do this, then we're gonna hold this money back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the lottery, you're saying, well, if the lottery was supposed to be implementing all this money into the schools, why we have no schools basically in the inner city of Flint? Why are our children being bused to hostile communities? Our children are being bused out to hostile communities because they have no understanding of black culture. And that's a real thing. And then you think about our children being faced with situations subtle. A lot of times it's subtle as far as bigotry and hatred towards another group, even little children that are just innocent, but they continue also to be preyed upon. And you wonder why they are hitting or they're striking out or they're behaving in a certain way that we want to say they're bad. A lot of times they are confused because of the way they are being treated.
Right.
But not even only confused about the way that they're being treated, but it's learned, right? Because nobody comes into the world just being a racist or a fascist or a narcissist or things like that. Those things are learned, right? Because little kids are sponges, so everything that they see and everything that you do when they're coming up, they mimic it all. You know, they repeat everything that you say. So if I'm gonna call you a SOB, they gonna call you one too, right? If I have to use the bathroom or you have to use the bathroom and you pee in the corner as opposed to going to the bathroom, then they think that's okay and they do it as well. So if I'm white and I'm calling my neighbors niggas, then that's what they're gonna do too, right? So it's learned, and so we have to make sure that we remember that as well, because when our children are going through these things with these people, we need to be calling it out to the parents because they had to learn it from somewhere. They just weren't born doing that. Little kids want to play. They don't care if you bright blue with pink polka dots. All they want to do is play, right? They don't care what color. They don't see color. They don't do that. All they want to know is, can you play? You want to play? You got a toy? Let's do it. That's all they want to do. And we need to make sure that these children are continuing to be children and they do those things and not put our bullshit into their mind. We got to do better. We do on both sides of the fence.
I think that's critical. I mean, when you think about just what just happened, last week, when you think about them ending this so-called war, and they spent over $2 trillion, and what that 20-year $1 trillion could have done in the black and brown community or the infrastructure. One thing that the Democrats and the Republicans get on board with, and y'all think about this in history, they can get on board with war. They can get on board with killing and destroying. Just bust up Saddam Hussein and bust up Gaddafi. Communities and countries that were doing their thing and kind of keeping things stable over there. Now it's in chaos because they went over there and bust up in there talking about nation building. You don't build no nation in you in my backyard. What do you think?
Right.
But think about that, y'all. $2 trillion. That ain't nothing to play with when you think about what's going on in our community across the board, and they keep telling us that we are undeserving because we're lazy and we're uncouth and we this, that, and the other, and our communities is racked with killing and racked with poverty. But all that is intentional because you're spending money that we pay taxes on that's going to other countries that are doing nothing for our communities.
But you know what's even more sad is that we believe it.
When you talk about business, I think from a standpoint like that, we know that everything is ruled by economics.
Right.
And I say for us as a group of people that we should be more focusing on how are we building group economics, because then that gives us a voice. And then that builds up our own community. So like in the city of Flint, we have one high school, which is Southwestern High School, but then at the same time, visiting there yesterday, talking about the pride of Flint and what we used to have. We used to have Flint Central, Northern, Northwestern, and some alternative schools as well.
Right.
But the thing is, like for us to have a vision, education starts first. We really have to be more prone on prompting more education. How can we create more opportunities or spaces for that, right?
Right.
To be able to talk about economics, right? Because that's the main things that I see, like for us, as black people in Flint, just in urban communities. We should be really standing strong on educating our young generation so they're competitive in this world, but then also how are we creating our own pipelines. And that's going to take us to really kind of envision, you know, what do we want to see? How do we retake our neighborhoods? How do we talk about and incite this ownership into young people so that they don't fall into these crips and these crutches that, you know, we all find ourselves in all the time. Where we don't, well, in this city, you know, folks is arguing about a foundation and, you know, the school board and the superintendent not being able to sit down and be on one accord. When we understanding that, yeah, okay, you can bring this money in, but at the same time, the people in this, the board and the community operate and run this, right? So it don't matter if you're a foundation giving buku dollars, that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's philanthropical activity. We expect you to donate towards the cause and help sustain programs and things of that nature. So you're not doing anything other than what other organizations are doing around the country. But then also is giving respect to the board to be able to fully function and operate on behalf of the children. The board members should be looking at how do we support these young people? How do we attract students back to the district? How can we really say, all right, boost our curriculum, while our environments, our school buildings are acceptable to young children, where it has you know, a flow of energy where you want to learn first and foremost. It's not molded, right? You're in a visionary school, and you want students to be able to learn like that. So the school board members are charged with that work, right? So I know in conversations, because we were talking about this yesterday, everybody has roles and responsibility, and everybody plays that role. Then everything and the outcome that we look at as far as group goals will come tangibly or manifest before us.
Right.
That's the thing where I think right now we have a disconnect. People may not understand their roles. People may, you know, maybe doing some things or they operate in a fraction where they shouldn't be, i.e. foundations, right? The thing is now, man, I think if we really want to put Flint on the map, if we really want to be productive, we really got to set down an action plan and strategically plan out how we're going to be able to do this, what we look like in the future.
Now, when you even say that, because there, you know, there's not you don't have to reinvent a new wheel. Actually, what has happened and how Flint was amazing because people all over the world used to come to Flint.
Right.
It was the model of education.
Right.
Because what they did, one of the wonderful things that Flint did, they incorporated putting money and programs in the schools and after school.
Right.
They were engaged in the home. See, that's another thing when you talk about what the answer is. The answer is not far-fetched. It's a combination of the school, the building, like you just said, about that structure got to be A1.
Right.
Just like at Fenton, Grand Blanc, or Grosse Pointe, or Bloomfield Hill.
Right.
A1, but part of Bloomfield Hill and all those other environments, higher income, they're connected to their community, meaning to the family, to each family. When you think about the level of boosters, come on, brother.
But then you talk about it, you made a valid point. Like, think about those outer counties. They would not allow the schools to have mold in it.
At all.
Like,
At
so
all.
us as parents, we shouldn't allow that here in Flint schools. Right?
No air conditioning.
No air conditioning. That we as the parents, you said it best, man. This starts at home.
Starts at home.
We have to be engaged. Like you were Mother Satara, you were working with your youth and going to the schools and connecting with the teachers. That's our responsibility.
Every day.
And then also talking with these administrators and saying, like, you know, how do we fundraise? How do we get the Parent-Teacher Association going strong?
Yeah.
We engage, right? Because, you know, for me as a parent, I have 2 small children that attend Grand Blanc. But I would love for them to attend Flint schools. Right. I really want to bring them back. But what are we bringing them back to? Would I be doing them a disservice bringing them back?
Where are they gonna go? They just closed the school because there's mold in it. So you would have been having to move them anyway.
Yep.
See, so it's a 2-part to this.
Absolutely.
We gotta have the decency. All right, listen, we're gonna invest in the future.
Right.
We willing to bring our students back. That's our role.
Right.
Yep.
But then the administration and the school board should say, okay, this is how we're going to meet your goal. This is how we're going to make sure we build a foundation for your child.
Right.
These are the steps and these are the things that we committed to doing.
And then there should be some people in administration not be in those positions because they don't have a heart for that job.
They don't have a heart for that shot. Or those folks in the superintendent role.
Right.
That's a critical role.
Critical.
And they arguing and fighting with each other and having closed doors meetings, and you both meet each other.
And then got the nerve to talk about city council.
Because we all city council acting the same way.
Yeah.
School board is acting the
Same way.
So, but
And the county is laughing at them.
the county is
Every county does
waiting
it.
to intervene.
Go and do it. Go and do it. That's the
And
whole,
that's what you
been the
don't
plan.
want. But that's what
But that's been
that's
the
what
plan.
people don't understand. That's
Yeah.
what you don't want.
That's what you don't want.
That's
You
the
don't
plan.
want that. Because then when that happens,
GISD.
there's nothing
on
else
now.
you can do.
You talking
Nothing.
about plantation owners, GISG, don't get it twisted.
Right.
And you know, it's critical when we think about, as you said earlier, man, about, you know, really taking responsibility. And because we're so busy over crumbs, arguing over crumbs, we're being delusioned over the bigger picture. And that's why we're so unhealthy. You know, just extremely, the patient is in critical condition.
You
And our
know?
babies, and again, I rip my heart because I deal with these children.
Yeah.
And these children, man, a lot of these young children just need somebody, T-I-M-E. That's how children spell love, y'all. We got parents, man, mother in the store hollering at this baby. I say, ma'am, you don't know, you ain't his father. I say, ma'am, come on now. Don't holler at the baby like that.
That was the wrong response. And like when we talk, like that was the village back in the day. Cause I be doing that too. Like when I see some activity going on,
Yeah.
I try, you know, because you know how folks be about their children and stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They try to give respect, but at the same time, listen, I'm like, you know, I'm like the uncle, right? Community brother, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. The thing is, everything starts at home. So you know, don't feel like you know somebody trying to step on your toes if they're trying to tell you something, you know, that's going to benefit your child.
But
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I totally get that. But as far as like the school and being involved and everything like that, we just doing a piss poor job as parents in being active and engaged with our children. We don't even ask them how they did and what they learned at school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just even little things like that, because now somebody's kid came home coughing and sneezing and all kinds of stuff that they didn't leave doing,
Right.
right? So nobody's asking like, why all of a sudden? I know you can smell it when you come in the building. If it's that bad when you close, I know you can smell it when you come in the building. Like, so I'm not understanding when my kid was in elementary, I took my kid, I didn't just drop him off at the door. I went in.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to show my face and let them know that if you have any, call me, whatever.
Right.
But even if I didn't do that then, like, you gotta ask questions, you have to talk to them. But even more than that, especially when they were young, I just made sure that I was present in elementary, because that is just so vital to everything, you know, and to make sure that you are present, you know, even just going and just seeing what the classroom looks like, how it's set up. Where your desk at? Show me where your desk is at.
That's it.
Let me see inside your desk. You know, little things like that. I would do that. But my mother used to do that.
Mine too. My
Right.
mother was a school teacher, so.
Mine wasn't, but she just didn't play about it.
But what it does though, and when you go there, what we're dealing with, we're helping our children to feel valuable,
Yeah.
to feel they have a purpose.
Come on now.
And a
Yeah.
reason to live. When you take the time to come in, let me show you what's in my desk.
Mm-hmm.
What you,
You know, yeah.
what you working with right here?
Right,
What's
right.
this live here over in the corner? You know,
Mhm.
those little things really mean something, because then parent and child is having a real good relationship
Come on now.
But
and
kids,
communication.
but kids love that, right?
Right.
Because my babies used to love to say, "Come in my, I want you to see my picture." She hung it up. It's at the
Right.
top,
It's at the
or
top.
it's on the door.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And they get excited about little things like that, and that is what we need to make sure that we are being present about. And then when they start doing other things, like I sacrificed, I gave up my whole life for my children when they were younger. I sacrificed. I mean, like, I worked third shift for 9.5 years just so I didn't miss a practice. I never missed a game. I never missed a parent-teacher conference. I never missed any of that. Now listen, now when I went to work, I was I was running on fumes, and it was some days I might have been a little half-assed, but I was present, I was on time, and I didn't miss anything, and my kids could not say that they didn't have anybody in their stand. I was the loudest. I was the proudest. Every time. I had to be parents to other people's children because they weren't present, right? And so I can't tell you how many times I had to walk on the court with a kid and run back out and walk on another court with a kid because they haven't, you know, their parents wasn't there or whatever. And it's it's unfortunate and it's sad, and we have to do better. And I understand that people have to work. I'm not saying that. I understand that you have to work, and I understand some of these places don't have third shift. But at some point, you have to make yourself available for your own children and not for everybody else. You have to sacrifice some things because it's sacrifice when you have children. It's all sacrifice. It's no compromise. It's all sacrifice.
It is, and it's good when you say that. I mentioned, we're the only country in the world that actually have a third shift, which is insane. Most countries do not work like Americans do, and then we have exploited this insanity because most countries and the way they are structured as far as their workforce is more inclusive, meaning they put the family first.
Right.
Like in Japan and China, they have a half an hour for Tai Chi. Literally stop in the middle of the day and an hour Tai Chi.
Is that the one when they give them a nap? They let them rest?
Nap, or you do a form of moving your body.
So they have, but even in the workforce, not even in the schools, but in the workforce, they have an hour nap time. In Germany, this is what I learned when I was in Germany. So my other company I work for is based out of Germany, so there, right? And so in Germany, they have 32-hour work weeks.
Look at that.
But not only do they, period, 32-hour work weeks.
Come on now.
32-hour work week. And so for maternity leave is 2 years.
At least. Look at that.
It's 2 years.
At least.
I'm like, I'm in the wrong country.
You say dual citizenship.
We need to be moving to Germany very soon.
Right. Dual citizenship.
But
when you say that again, and that goes to show you the different mindset culturally, because again, and people don't want to be honest about this, America was stolen from people that was already here, and people that was running from being persecuted, those Puritans that were supposed to be Puritans and all running from religious persecution, came over here and brought their wickedness, their evilness, along with slavery over here. And that's the petulance that we're dealing with. And we still don't want to be honest about that because everything is connected. When you say about our children, our community not having the resources, that's intentional. The attack on the unions. At one time, unions built this country.
Right.
And the only unions that's around now is the police. That is insane. The police got a union or association, but they want to attack the teachers union or the UAW or the United Teamsters. You know what they did with Hoffman?
They did it.
Hoffman disappeared, along with a whole lot of other people that I won't mention.
And they
came up mentioned.
They still looking for that brother, man. Listen, we gonna find him. But listen though, we want to go in because we do have a very special guest that's coming up today.
That's right.
We got our sister in the house, she in the building. We also got our brother, the comedian. She's gonna tell us about him and give us some updates about it. We also got third ward activist and city council candidate, write-in candidate, Brother Rich Jones. So
we have
Yes,
Brother
ma'am.
Robert's Black History Impact.
Yes,
before then, so what we like to do is the history segment is a very special segment, right? So we also want to talk about this being a platform for entertainment, news, but then also some knowledge. So at this time, man, we want to go ahead and go into the segment for History Impact with Brother Roberts.
So we're gonna take a short 30-second break, and then when we come back, Brother Roberts has the floor. You there?
Hey, how you doing, my community? This is another installment. I'm Hubert Naeem Roberts. I'm a board member of Black Lives Matter Flint, and I'm a mentor director. And one thing that we always want to engage in our community is some history. So this is our history impact for today. Again, I'd like to show you a little picture of this is going to be next week, but this is Jimmy Winfield. This is Jimmy Whitfield. Again, he's a jockey out of Kentucky. History on Kentucky, Black people, Kentucky Derby. Most people don't realize that Black people actually created Kentucky bluegrass. That whole economy down there with horses, it was Black people that started it. And I'm going to go into a little bit of that next week. But today we're going to be doing something that's going to be very enlightening. Today I want to talk a little bit about the whole concept of the enslaved Africans being, it's called buck breaking. Back in the day during slavery, they had plantations that was strictly dealing with sexual plantations. And along in the Caribbean, they had these islands called breaking islands. And what they used to do to break a buck, again, what they would do, they would find our men that had large phalluses or penises, however you want to say it. And a lot of them were from the Mandingo tribe. But what they would do is they would sodomize, they would beat, whip them, destroy them as much as possible, and then bend them over a tree and then sodomize them. And again, this kind of practice took place on a regular basis throughout the enslavement. And if anybody know the terms buck breaking, that's where the terms come from. And you think about the homosexuality that we are dealing with today. Back in the day, slave masters used to have orgies. They had orgies, and they had orgies where they would get involved with their other plantation owners, and they all would be having homosexual sex with their enslaved boys. And again, when you think about our history, guys, and that's why it was so prevalent today, you know, after the beating and the whipping and all those things took place, and you somewhat dehumanize a Black man, which is happening today, and then you sodomize him. When they did the sodomizing, they made sure that the children, the wives, all of the slaves on the plantation saw this strong Black man being sodomized. And it's still taking place today when you think about high-tech lynching and the killing in our Black and brown people that are willfully willing to support a system that is continuing to destroy us. And even when you think about the master would sneak out, well, not sneak out, the master would have sex with his enslaved Black women. And even when the master's wife knew that this Black boy or girl was part of the master's, they would have either the child beheaded or the child would be tortured and eventually killed. And it was mandatory for every woman starting at age 12 years old to have at least 15 to 20 children. It was mandated that every enslaved girl starting at 12 years old on a plantation to have at least 15 to 20 children. There's one record that's recorded. His name is Bert. He has been recorded to have fathered 200 children. He's a Mandingo from the Mandingo tribe, but he has been on record to have fathered 200 children. And again, when you think about breeding started taking place in 1836. And again, when y'all think about the breeding, because they instituted the abolishing importation of slaves, so they started breeding our people like animals. And again, it's so important for us to make sure that we understand our history, and I'm hoping that some of you guys will want to know more about this information. I think it's something that's not told or is not shared throughout our school system or college level, even graduate school, when you think about the horrible history of enslavement. And again, in leaving with James Baldwin talked clearly about the whole reason. You know, I said earlier, what was the purpose on making a nigger? And until this country will find the answer to that question, we'll continue to be the state that we're in. I leave you guys again. This is Black History Impact, Black Lives Matter. I'm here with Naeem Roberts. My number is 810-394-4105. Mentor Roberts at gmail.com. Thank you for your time. All right. I'm hoping that we can continue to. Okay, yes.
We got 30 seconds.
Okay, yes.
Second break.
Okay, listen, guys. We want to make sure that you guys make sure we look for membership. And we're looking for people to be recruited. So, guys, Black Lives Matter is really engaged in the community. We are asking and hoping that you guys will continue to be part of this great work. You wonder what happened to the NAACP? Where's the NAACP? You know, people want to talk about Black Lives Matter. Where was the NAACP on anything that's been happening in this country? And again, we always talk. But it's time to strap on some nuclear bombs in our hearts and minds and be engaged in making some things happen in this community.
All right, welcome back.
Welcome
back.
And it's glad to be back. And also, we wanted to make sure that we made way for our special guest coming in. So make some noise for Sister Audrey Muhammad Young. And Sister Audrey Young Muhammad.
Young.
Make sure we kind of,
Yes.
really step on that. So
Right.
Audrey Young
Right.
Muhammad, right?
Yes.
When
Well,
you see her on the
peace,
ballot box, you
peace.
want to say Audrey Young.
Audrey Young.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back.
I am glad to be here. Glad to be here.
All right. What's going on? Tell us what's going on.
Where do we start?
Where you want to start?
We got a lot going on. This weekend, we got a lot going on.
Okay.
Sunday in particular.
Mm-hmm.
In front of my house, my whole block on Kirkwood Lane.
Yeah.
Right off of McClellan.
Okay.
1 block east of Brownell. We're going to have a block party from 2 to 6.
All right.
Please come out. Bring your family friendly. We're going to have food. We're going to have fun. We got raffles. We're going to have bounce houses, basketball. We're going to have some little everything. We want everybody to feel welcome to come. Please come ready to have some fun. Come ready to talk. Come ready to bring your ideas. As you know, Black Lives Matter is helping to sponsor that. And we are going to be over there enjoying ourselves and enjoying the community. So we want you all to join
Is
us.
that at
Just kinda go on.
3119 Kirkwood?
Yes,
All right.
ma'am. 3119 Kirkwood Lane.
All right.
Yes.
So just kind of going into that, our thing is always voter education. You know,
Yes.
Our thing is definitely making sure that we are educated voters when we out here, knowing actually who's on the platform, who's on the ballots. Also meeting and greeting the folks, so you can kind of get a better understanding of what they're looking to, advance the city in.
Yes.
So we just greatly appreciate just even being a platform or a foundation for it.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
so like you said, you got the block party that's coming up this Sunday.
Correct.
So tell us, so you campaigning
Yes.
in the second ward.
Yes.
What is the second ward, or what is the needs of the second ward, and what can we do to kind of bring that whole area back to prominence? Because that was a very, very powerful area right there.
Exactly. It's home to Civic Park, the Civic Park community.
Mm-hmm.
It's home to several big parks surrounding the community. Civic Park is not necessarily a park per se, but that's the name of the community that's over there. We have about 6 or 7 parks actually in the second ward. So, you got Max Brandon Park, the old Forest Park, for some who don't remember, but that's what it's called. We have, Cyrus Park. We got the park that's Iroquois Park, which is at King School.
Mm-hmm.
We have the park that's over on Kniff and Fleming Road. We have, we sit right on the border where Hidden Park is at, and I just learned where that was at this year. We have Bassett Park, which is behind Haskell.
Right.
So we want to make sure that you know that we got a lot of parks and stuff over there. Also on the 18th is City Cleanup Day. You know, it's a citywide cleanup where I will be with several other people hosting over on Lloyd between Welch and Patterson. We intend to clean up 2 properties over that way. Looking for more volunteers. Feel free to come out. We are gonna have fun. We'll have refreshments and things for you, and we'll also be feeding lunch. So we want you all to come out if you can. Please, get in touch with me and everything. But the whole second ward, one of the biggest things that we used to have over there that we have lost is economic development. Small business owners that's owned by us that live in those communities. A lot of the stores that's owned over there, we don't have any party stores here in the city that's really owned by minorities, black in particular. And that's one of the things that's missing in that area. We do have some beauty salons over there. We do have several other restaurants in that area, but we need black economic development. Blight, we all know blight is everywhere. We, just ride down the street. Many of our people don't know you need a mattress bag over your mattresses. I can't tell you where I stopped at, how many houses I stopped at and said, hey, look, let me help you get a mattress bag. Because the garbage truck is not going to pick it up. They're not even going to pick up large items unless you call them. So some of the things is just community education. People don't know that I can't set my garbage or set furniture by the street and it's not going to get picked up.
What, I gotta call them first?
You got to call
Only in
Yeah.
Flint.
for large items.
That's
Only in Flint.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's going to be on Lloyd, Lloyd, and it sits between Welch and Patterson. There's a house, one of the addresses is 1401 and the other one is like 1402. 1401 Patterson and 1402 Welch.
What day?
It's next Saturday, and we're gonna be out there at 9, and we're gonna be there until about 2 o'clock. I'm gonna be roughly around there until about 2. We hoping that we'll be done cleaning up around that time, a little earlier. So just come up, show out, be ready to help clean up and enjoy being around others. I'm big on that we know that the city is responsible, but we all got a responsibility with cleaning up around our areas. We have a lot of blighted areas around here. So we're looking for people to help and to volunteer. I'll be starting to collect more information on Monday, especially with the volunteers that's gonna be out there to help clean up, because we're doing so much for Sunday this week already. But, yeah, those are some of the biggest things that's going on over in our community. But we also know that there's a lot of problems with trees. Trees falling down, limbs falling down, dead trees. Sidewalks. We need sidewalks replaced. We got quite a few things. We got streets. We finally got a neighbor's driveway taken care of right at the foot of her driveway. She had a big pothole at the foot of her driveway, but we got that filled and taken care of. But we still have sidewalks that need to be taken care of. The roots from the trees that's in the parkway that's between the street and the sidewalk have uprooted some of the sidewalks, and they made them very dangerous to walk down the street. You all be careful, because you can trip over the sidewalk. That's literally, you can trip over some of them that I have actually looked at and seen. But we know it's going to take us collectively together. We need you all to get your information. We need you to call down to street maintenance at the city. I don't have that number right offhand.
You gotta call the street maintenance?
You need to call them if you see it out there. We do have street maintenance people that's out and about in the city, but they're not always picking up on the things that need to get done.
And that's what my question I was gonna ask you as far as, in the past, whose responsibility, I got 2 questions. Okay, the first one, whose responsibility to help hold accountable for all the things you just mentioned about items being picked up, the debris, the trees, and those kind of things, is one who is supposed to be held accountable, because many of the residents don't have the money, trucks, or the ability to do that. And who's that responsibility, and where do those dollars come from? And then the other thing that you mentioned about, as far as the destruction of our businesses in that area, is there any anchor churches in that community that you have reached out to as far as developing relationships, building relationships where, they could be on board with helping to find solutions for that area over there, and really re-engaging the family to help make the family whole and heal our community in that area? Have you did actually went and talked to some of the native, foreign people that own those stores over there. Okay.
Yes, I'll start with, and work backwards, because I can remember those.
Okay.
With the businesses, yes, I have talked to some of the foreigners that live over in that area and trying to build up a relationship and a camaraderie with them. Because we need to see, if you're gonna be in our area, you need to donate to our area and our community. I started out, one of the things that I did do this week is I went out and visited many of those businesses and asked them and say, hey, look, we're having a block party in this area. We want to know if you're willing to donate. That's gonna let me know where they stand with us.
Okay.
Because if they're not willing to donate as something as small as a case of pop or a loaf of bread, then you ain't really ready to invest in this community.
That's right.
That's a sign. That's something very small.
Because they definitely need to respect the black dollar.
They definitely need to respect the black dollar. We go in and we spend all this money there.
And on that note,
Yes, sir.
keep in mind, we need to make them.
Make them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We need to make them hold them accountable
To respect the black.
to
dollar.
respect the
Absolutely.
black dollar. Don't go in a store where you're not welcome. If they ain't employing us, they don't respect us. If they ain't giving to our community, they do not respect us. That's for anyone. They take our money and they go back to wherever they live at, which is not in our neighborhoods, and they take those dollars out.
Definitely.
We need those monies to be reinvested back into our own community.
Absolutely.
It's gotta be. There is no, and then if they don't want to, okay, guess what? Now we need to start to campaign against that store or that particular business. It's easy to do if you make sure that you got an alternative. So we can't
Right.
close down a store that's selling needs in the community and don't have something else to
That's right.
replace it.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta find a means and a way. So we're gonna stand outside their store and say, hey, look, we're gonna work with you, but you need to go ahead and get somebody, you need to take care of our community.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna stand in front of your store, we're gonna make sure that we act and divert the business away from those communities. I look at some of the hair stores. You know, we had a couple of black hair care stores. We had the beautiful program that happened that caught my eye. That was very beautiful. I appreciated what they did, and they gave back in a way that was great. You know, up on North Saginaw, I was just like, wow, I'm really, really happy and impressed.
Right.
So we got to make sure that we hold all of our business accountable like that, and they are black owned, but they gave back to the community. All of them should do that. You talked about street maintenance and those kind of things. What should happen is if you're having problem with getting in touch with those departments and those department heads, Mike Brown said call him. You can email him. I think his email is Mike Brown at City of Flint, cityoflint.com or
I did find the Flint maintenance number.
Okay.
810-766-7343.
call them.
A lot of times before they answer.
Call them. Leave a voicemail.
Can you say the number again?
810-766-7343. That is Flint Construction and Maintenance.
And I also had someone to tell me to go directly to the place, to one of the hubs that's up there on, is it 12 near Fenton?
Mm-hmm.
Go up there and knock on the door if you don't get no answer.
Okay.
If you need to.
Yeah.
Because we gotta hold them accountable. Our city council should be helping us to navigate, stay on them, speak out at city council meetings, attend some of these individual board meetings, cause they have them. We only hear mostly about city council, but we need to know about the other meetings that's going on down there too. But hold them accountable. Go and meet them out in the community and let them know what it is that you need to get done. It's not far from being where you can walk into City Hall. It's not far.
They just actually had the city hall has a meeting today.
Well, that was a special meeting, but the city council isn't gonna meet back down there again. That was a special meeting that they had, that was a hearing.
So would they have their meetings from here on out in person?
No, sir.
No city council meetings in person?
Nope.
That wasn't an official city council meeting. It was just a special hearing that was asked for and requested by Councilman Eric Mays, and he wanted to meet face to face. That way, which is what they should do anyway, or at the very least on Zoom, you will cut out a lot of the nonsense and rhetoric that's going on. I can guarantee you that some of the council people are making sidebar phone calls, contacting, texting, or something during those meetings. You could tell by the lack of response or the slow delay response when they asked a question. You could tell by some of the things in the swaying of their votes and their comments. You can just tell that yes, that's a speculation, but guess what? It ain't far-fetched. And even one of them, we even heard them on a conversation with somebody else while they were on the meeting. So it ain't even a speculation. We know it at least happened a couple of times. So they need to be able to see the faces of the ones that's on those meetings, and it should be a requirement.
When do you think that, because you know what, to be honest with you, it's about time to go back to in-person meetings. Everybody else is doing it.
Right.
Yes.
What's the holdup?
We have no idea. And we saw how they had them spaced out. All of their seats were spaced out. Everyone was there today except for 3 of the council people were not there. Kate Fields was not there. Alan Griggs was not there. Neither was Eva Worthing. They were not there. They did not show up to that hearing. That was a choice. It wasn't mandatory. That was a choice.
Let's talk about, we talking city council business, because city council race is coming up.
Right.
You know, people as us as a constituents,
Yes.
we are over the city council.
Yes, I understand.
And we are dissatisfied with the activity and just all of the work that they've been doing.
Yes, sir.
Let's put that out there first. So when you got people that don't show up to these meetings, and it's the same old game, the same old people vote with the same people, right?
Yes.
You never really analyze these things or these situations and say, okay, well, listen, let me make on my own cognizance, let me make a competent decision.
Yes.
You don't have that with this city council. You got Kate, you got Eva head, her head is up Kate Fields' butt, and Griggs is trying to squeeze his head in there too. It's like, it's ridiculous though, right?
Yes, sir.
What can we expect? Because our thing is really installing a new Flint City Council.
Right.
For this upcoming term, which is November 2nd. We need everybody to be registered to vote. This is one of our most important things coming up right now.
Right.
Make sure you are registered to vote. If you think that you are not registered to vote, be sure to go ahead and contact, actually downtown, you go to contact,
The city clerk's office.
Ms. Inez Brown office, see what district or see where you're voting at. So have all that information prior to
There's a
November
QR code
2nd.
on my page that you can use.
There's one question for you in here too.
We'll get to this question.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So the thing is, we definitely want to make sure that folks is registered to vote. Everybody understand that it's critical that you come out. We be having these people ready to, to represent you. But if we don't come up there and we do our job of voting, then this is good for nothing. And I'm talking to us because, in the city is 65% black. We have the opportunity to select our people. We have the opportunity to put the right leadership in place. Once that right leadership is in place, then we can come with the solutions that we feel the community wants. So we need everybody to ensure that you are coming out, you're voting. So, sister.
Yes, sir.
So, sister, the city council is coming up. We've seen this activity for umpteen years.
Yes, sir.
We are looking for something new.
Yes, sir.
What can we expect out of you in the second ward if you are selected?
One, transparency. I know that's a common term that's being used.
It's
But
really
we
not
heard
though.
No, we heard that on.
They say that, but follow through with transparency. Most people say, well, I'm going to be as transparent as possible. We know that
I'm
doesn't
tired
happen.
of truth, power, and transparency. You say that nonsense on there.
No,
Listen,
that's
we
right.
just gonna go ahead and just
That's
automatically-
bad. That bad is police saying I fear for my life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can guarantee you, with me,
Mhm.
I'm trying to make sure I say this and say it as plain and clear as I can.
Mhm.
Sister Audrey owed nobody nothing.
Mm.
Only thing she owed to anybody is to represent the second ward to the best of her ability.
All right.
Right.
My intent with representing the second ward is this. Sister Audrey might say, I want the blue. And if the ward, and the majority of the ward come to me and say, no, we choose red, I don't have a choice but to choose red because that's what the community wants. We can sit down, we can talk and negotiate it. And I'm just using that as a metaphor. It is not my responsibility to be of anyone's behind. I don't follow anyone else's lead but the lead of God.
Right.
And when I make a decision based on Sister Audrey and what it is that she have looked up and researched for herself. Whichever way my decision goes, it's my independent decision, not the decision of someone else's.
Right. Right.
So, there is a question here from, Chris. Brother Chris would like to know, what is your economic plan and education plan for Flint or your ward?
So the education plan, that is definitely something, I don't know if you're talking about with the educational system, Flint school board, charter schools. I'm not quite for sure, Chris, because that's something that's handled by the Department of Education. But if you asking me, we definitely need to revamp what it is we're doing at our school board, if you're asking in that respect. We have lost a lot of students to the charter school, not a lot of students from the area, but from the charter schools and then some to outside sources. We know that a lot of our funding that came through for the Flint Board of Education is now handled by the county. Like many of our other things that's going on is handled by the county. It's like we're moving from city ruled and city owned, moving into the county. We have to be very watchful and very careful of that to make sure that we don't turn our resources over or lose our power and give it over to the other entities of other governmental entities like the county or the state. We're not giving that back up. We can't give it up without a good fight.
Right.
We have to give a good fight to keep that. Economically, we need to sit down and find out what it is that we can do to keep the economics in-house. Yes, we can put stipulations and requirements back on city employees that they have to live inside the city if they want to work for the city.
That's right.
That's what we
I
need to
agree.
do.
Yes.
We need
I
to
agree.
bring more of those funds and resources. We've lost
Yes.
more resources. You could go and look it up. We've lost more resources
Yes.
in tax dollars that go to outside cities
Yes.
that are produced here from people working here inside the city. Why would you want to work for a place that you don't want to live in?
Come on.
You too good to live here, but yet you want to work here and draw the monies off of it?
Say yes.
We can't allow that to keep happening.
Yeah.
Would that take place in one term? Probably not. However, you got to start moving in a direction to where it can happen. I heard someone say, that's ridiculous to think that we can even get our own garbage trucks back. No, I say it's ridiculous for you to even think that we can't.
That's
Right.
right.
We can.
Right.
That's right.
Everything takes progress. When you first started in your own personal life and got employed, you didn't automatically walk out the door the first day of employment, buy a house, a car, and have everything like you want. It took time to get it.
That's
Only thing you
right.
have to do is sit down, work out the finances, figure out what's what, how we gonna work it out. That's just one part of the economics that we talking about, Mr. Caleb, because we know that we can get it done. But you know what? We got to have educated people that's in there. If we don't know how to do it ourselves, that's when you ask somebody, can you help me figure this out? You don't just sit up and just let it go to waste because you think you know or you don't want no assistance and no help. That's what a good leader does. A good leader don't necessarily have to always be on the forefront, but they put somebody in the front that can lead and do what they want to on whatever project it is that we need to have it done. So we do need to sit down and look at where can we get the money and what happened to our monies, especially our monies that we recently lost. We had a budget, we was moving in a good direction. What happened? I want it written out in front of me. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. However, unless you put it in front of me in writing and show me what happened to that money, where did it go, there is no way at all that I can believe we lost $47 million.
Man.
Well, I can tell you that, one of the reasons that we lost it is because when you think about the complacence that took place and somewhat of the, I don't want to say, well, tell the truth, again, you have a system because from the governor
Yeah.
to the mayor, to President Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, all of them were complicit with the water situation. So when you just talked about, and that's one thing we gotta be critical, and you gotta be careful with education. You know, you can have educated fools.
Yes.
If you're not committed to the community, that's where I was going with, you know, someone, who are the stakeholders that you are really talking to in the community that you wanna represent? Because from those pastors, those block clubs, those people that's gonna help turn out, encourage people door to door, knocking on door to door, encouraging and informing the people about what the issues are, so they would be informed and not ignorant.
Right.
And then how do we engage collectively to say we can do a forensic study on where the money went and hold those people accountable? It could be from the Weaver's administration to the Neely's administration to Snyder. Again, when you think about your position as a council member, and again, your work to a greater degree would be more or less, and I'm just putting this on you a little bit, and I'm hoping that you may think about how you can have an open door policy where you are really working for your constituents, and then how to influence the other wards. Because if we're saying we are working against the county got a mission and a plan, and they serious. They're not playing.
Yes.
And they got some real power behind them.
Yes.
Because it's happening across
They
the
do.
country.
Yes.
So again, when you think about how do we really, you know, start developing those little pockets of information committees where we are strengthening one another, understanding legislation and policy, we can leave our religion at the door where we can really get down dirty and get to some real practical facts so we can have some real things in our pocket that we're not wailing and they just saying they're marching and crying just for mess, that we are protesting with a purpose.
Right. Exactly.
Protesting with a purpose.
You're absolutely correct. You know, we cannot afford to lose anymore. We just can't. We got a settlement that's coming in. We already know we got screwed over with that one. We got to start reading the fine print. We cannot allow, because we already know the people who told us that they were our friends. They weren't. And I'm talking about the lawyers. Because the lawyers are getting paid like fat rats. And we're gonna be at a loss. The average house, their infrastructure still need to be replaced.
Yes.
I got a gentleman that's around the corner from me that's elderly. He hasn't got anything ever checked at his house to see if he even had lead lines. And he's called in question about it. He can't, he's elder, he's having a hard time doing a follow-up. What happened to him? And this just recently in the last several months, he said he had called down there right before the deadline came. And I went around to his house the other day, because on and off, I'll just go around there just to check and see how's it going. Nothing's been done. So when we talk about a lot of money that is coming into town, we still got that 47 million, I guess, that's still sitting there, that came in from the COVID relief, the relief funds that we got. That money belonged to the citizens of Flint.
Did I hear you say correctly that we're in a deficit? So we got
We're
that
budgeted
first
for a
payment of
deficit.
we got that first payment of $47 million from the COVID relief.
It's 17 in the hole, right? 17 million.
17, you know.
You went from 25
Yep,
to
to
17.
17.
24 to 17.
Yeah.
So
So that's 41 million, yeah. But,
So just get on that, right?
Right.
So we got the COVID relief dollar. The COVID relief bill came with $99 million coming to the city of Flint.
yes.
With that, we got a first check of 47 million, 47.5. Pretty much half. You get in two installments. We got the first check, right? And when I was here when we first got it, we were at a surplus of what, $24 million?
24 million, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what I'm hearing, right? That we in the hole with a deficit of 17 million, right? So
Correct.
explain this to me so that way it's clear to our audience. If we can, this is a general conversation.
Right.
And if anybody would like to chime in on the chat, you can also do that as well. What happened?
Good question. That's why I'm saying that we need it all written out, because you're talking about a budget that hasn't been explained. Why did we lose money? As you know, the trash contract that just got passed is gonna be $8 million more than the other contract. That's why you had the hearings and stuff today, because they wanna vet that company to find out what are they gonna offer us. The witnesses that were supposed to show up today that was subpoenaed didn't show up. The lawyers showed up, but the witnesses didn't. So now, not only just that, I know some people got pay raises down there.
In City Hall.
That's what was talked about in several of the city council meetings. They were giving pay raises. How can you give a pay raise when we're already slated to be at a deficit? We shouldn't be. Even though some people say, oh, the pay raises aren't that much. But now we also got we got a lot of positions that's open for the city of Flint.
The ombudsman office been filled? Filled, but has it been financed?
Nope. It wasn't financed. And she needs help. Miss Dorsey needs help down there. How can she go through with serving the citizens of Flint correctly if she don't have a support staff? She's not the only, Miss Brown asked for additional funding. I think she got some of hers. And it was another department too that asked for additional funding. But we're slated for a deficit. How can you sit down and work out a plan to where you can get $24 million in surplus in an emergency fund, but then yet we're still slated to be $17 million in the hole, and the employment capacity, they're not even at capacity down there with the employees.
So what would be your goals for the money? What would you like to see happen with the money? If you were to get into the seat, what are you bringing to the table to say what we should do with this money?
With the $47 million. Okay, you going back we're going to the COVID relief fund. One of the things we need to do is equalize our water balance, our water fund. I'm just gonna say it, when the emergency manager was in place, a lot of money was taken out of the water fund and placed in other departments. So we lost a lot.
That is one of our biggest source of income.
Right.
The water.
Is the water. So we know that we got a lot of people who haven't paid in a while. We know that there's places where you can go and get the help and assistance to pay. But we also want to make sure that with some of that COVID relief, if you think about it, the money goes to the water fund and helps to equalize some of the water and balance off the water account. Where's the money gonna go to? Back into the city's revenue, correct?
Right.
Where else would it go? It wouldn't go anywhere else but back into the city's revenue.
I think that's a legitimate ask right there. When you're talking about zero balance, and I know Brother Rich has been on the front lines talking about zeroing out the balance.
Right.
I think that could be very beneficial, because not only you provide relief to residents who have been paying water rates is much more than the rates around the country. I think that provides a financial relief for residents.
It does.
And then also, like you said, those dollars do go back into the general fund.
It goes back into the general fund.
Right. So that's revenue.
That's
So I think it does make kind of sense in a sense. This is, let's say this free money, but this money is supposed to be generating or boosting our economy.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
Now, if there's some mitigation that's supposed to be taking place, help me, because I'm still kind of confused, because I think when you're dealing with numbers, they don't lie. So you're telling me that money was available, money was pulled out, you have a surplus, and now you have a deficit. So the question I wanted to try to get you to answer is, if any of you guys know, who or whom's are responsible for that? Who knows, or like you said, you said somebody, lawyer showed up, the witness did, who has subpoena power? How does somebody show up and not, it's supposed to be there, and not subpoenaed to be there?
Right.
So do city council, would you guys have the power? I'm just curious.
Their power is limited. There's a lot of subpoenas that's out there that's not being
So
it's not being served. Not trying to be funny, that's not being served, and the people are not requested to come in. I wish Rich was still around here, because there's a subpoena still on the table for Rick Snyder. That's been on the table, but he's talking about that for years. For Rick Snyder. because they wanted him to come in and testify under oath what it was, because he really didn't. So the city council, they stripped the city council. Actually, if you want to know the truth, you know who has the power to make sure that it takes place? Our city attorney. And the city attorney has a lot of power. And some of the things that she has power to go in and do, she hasn't done. If I'm not correct, somebody correct me, because I heard it being said there in the city council. They asked that in the city council meeting. Why isn't it being done? I have no clue.
But ain't she the behest of the mayor?
Sir,
Ain't she to serve the mayor?
she to serve the mayor and the council.
But is she gonna serve the mayor though? That's what I'm
But she's
saying.
serving the mayor.
I
She
thought
is-
she's supposed to serve the people.
She's supposed to serve the mayor,
City of Flint.
the city of Flint.
That ain't how she go though.
But her priority on serving is they serve the mayor, they supposed to serve the council, they supposed to serve the people.
Ain't this the reason they went outside and got lawyers though?
They went outside, what you mean for the case?
Yeah.
They did go outside and seek outside legal assistance. That's why they say, but I mean, you had two entities within each other that was fighting each other. But however, there's a lot of things they refer to her as to interpret what it is that's in those bylaws and what's in the charter.
But let's keep it simple. I'm just saying, nobody, you said nothing about no numbers. 2 and 2 is 4. So let's
Every day.
just, no
Every day.
disrespect, Ms. Muhammad, but the numbers, the numbers. Let's just deal with the numbers.
Okay.
How can we get answers to numbers? Not no subpoena,
budget.
not no,
The budget.
okay.
Okay, when you had the budget that came before city council, you had some council members who said we don't agree with the budget. Let's sit down and work it out.
That was the operating budget that needed to be presented.
Right, that was the operating budget. And then you had some city council members who said we're gonna vote for it.
Now
Though
stop, okay, stop there. So, what, if help me, because I'm going back to my, to school. So you saying, based on revenue, these are expenditures, and then we have to mark up our budget. Am I correct, y'all? Or
Correct.
help me?
You saying this is how much we got to have
This is-
going out, and this is how much money we can expect to come in. Yep, absolutely.
That's kind of finance 101, right?
Yes.
Yeah, checks and balances.
Okay.
So,
But then it was said too, though, that he had undercut the budget. So the budget that he presented, he didn't bring. So he had this number of expenses, right? I'm just throwing numbers out there. This may not be the technical number, but say for instance, the expenditures came up to $70 million, and he budgeted to bring in $70 million, but only brought in $50 million, right? So now you in the red, right? Because now your expenditures exceed your income.
so we in the red 20.
We in the red, right?
Right.
Okay.
How did that happen? These are the things that need to be clarified to the city, because you just talked about numbers.
Right.
Yes.
How did that happen, first and foremost? How do we under budget and we don't bring in the projected amount of dollars that we expect to get? Right, that's one thing. And then now, I guess when we're talking about, we're at a deficit of $17 million.
It's gonna be a deficit, right?
It's
We're
gonna be
budgeted for a deficit.
Budget for the. How do you get to those points, right? And maybe this is because our CFO did resign, right?
The purchasing director.
You got purchasing director to resign. So you got folks who are the money people, right?
Yes.
Leaving office. Maybe they had a reason or a role in why that was under budgeted. But these checks and balances at the city level from administration, man, that sounds ridiculous. And that sounds like incompetence.
It is very incompetent.
So
Very.
who is checking over that? And so with city council being the co-equal branch of government, who is checking that balance? Who's checking that budget? And who's reviewing this now? Because is there another CFO?
Yep.
Oh, it is?
He's interim.
Okay.
Came from the state again, another state person again. Like some of the other ones that's down there came from the state. During the emergency management, some of the other ones down there.
I guess my question is, who's reporting out on this? Who's checking this and providing the financial report?
And so when you say that, all these people that you asked the question about who is supposed to be reporting on it, they still getting a check, number one, right? They still getting paid. They got a salary, right?
Mhm.
I
If
presume.
they have not resigned.
If they have not resigned.
Okay, so, and then why haven't, or would you consider, if you elected, would you consider asking the plantation owner to come in and figure out what happened? Can you say that?
What'd you call it? Who's the plantation owner?
My foundation.
Now, we call it how it is.
And I ain't no sugarcoating
No,
here.
that's what I thought he said. I just wanted to make for certain.
That's
Yeah.
So would I be willing to have him come in there to hold him accountable
Yes,
for?
ma'am.
Yes, sir. Because whoever it is, that's where's the problem?
Right.
They gotta come in. We need you to come in. We need you to come and to explain to us what's happening and what's not happening. Because it's obvious that somewhere somebody don't know how to budget. If it means you gotta get rid of a vehicle
What
to
about,
save some money,
what about the helicopters at 300,000?
That's insane.
And
That's
unacceptable.
that's insane.
Unacceptable.
And it ain't gonna be worked till next year?
That's
Now they pushed it back. They
yeah.
pushed the helicopter wasn't gonna be right. I think they saying that it wasn't all the way purchased, or
They took the 300?
it took 300, but it said it's not available right now.
that's
That was the last
insane.
update. But I don't think that we needed 300,000 on the helicopter.
We don't need no ghetto bird.
We do not. We do not.
That's totally unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
It does.
I
And on
agree.
top of that, how in the world, back to the numbers, man. Numbers don't lie, man.
So I'm with you, right?
So I'm so perplexed
Yeah,
on how this is going because I've been on some boards.
I too.
When you call the meeting to order,
Yes.
right? You go over your last minutes
Financial report.
Yes.
and a financial report. Where the hell is the damn financial
I
report?
think that's
No, wait a
And
minute.
why are we accepting this?
I can help you. Who over the finance? Because they took Eric out that seat. Who did they put in that seat?
Okay.
Is it?
Ain't it Eva? Eva what? It ain't Maurice. It wasn't
What
Maurice.
is Maurice doing?
He's number 2, vice president.
But he's over a committee though.
I don't think it's finance though.
Yeah, remember that wasn't finance. I want to say it's
No.
Eva. What Eva
No.
over?
Is it Santino? Because remember when he wasn't there, Monica Galloway sat in for
Right,
him.
Santino.
It's Santino.
Santino, can I see this? Can I see the report?
Is
Because
he
I'm
in
perplexed.
finance?
Yes, I think he is. Let me just say this to you all who are listening. You need to know how your council person is voting on everything that comes before them. That's how you make a decision on whether you vote them in or vote them out. Many of you all have council people who vote against that which is for the better good of the citizens. Many of you do. We always have those few who take it into consideration what the citizens want. But you have those few who don't care, and them poor people don't know how to make a decision for themselves, is what they say. You need to know on everything how they're voting.
So, with that being said, we see this. Y'all come on, y'all talk about it. You're making memes. You making fun of it. You doing all of this, and you know where it's at. So here's my thing. Where's the damn report? I'm going back to that. I want to see the report. This is numbers like I'm trying to listen. I'm not even being funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to just be on this.
I got a
what
question
I'm
for you.
saying is that I am perplexed as shit. I want to know because I feel the same way.
No.
These are numbers. I want to know where is the report. Transparent.
No, I got a question
I don't
for
even
y'all.
care. Okay, hang on. But my point is that where is this report? This is something that's supposed to be. This,
I hope
Y'all.
Shelby Fryer didn't
Y'all.
take it with her.
Y'all, listen to me. This is the importance of voting. This is the importance of knowing who in the hell we have in these seats. Now, we all up here, I am perplexed. Like, I don't understand. I am baffled at this, that we don't even know where this money is going. There's no, I need to see an itemized something. Listen. At this point, I don't care if you write it in crayon on a napkin. I need to see something, right? Because I am really baffled. This is mind blowing. This is ridiculous. This is so stupid. And I'm not understanding why we, or y'all, whomever, all these people, as constituents and just people in the city of Flint, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Right.
Why aren't we looking at these people? Why aren't we seeing this? And then to say what she's saying about we gotta know where they vote. We know where they voting. Herb Winfrey, what the hell? What you doing, dude?
Well, this question
Come
for y'all,
on.
right? Before you
I'm
get to
not
her.
saying this. Listen, no, I'm gonna get to her.
No, I
Because
said
I'm
before you
so-
get to her,
Oh, okay,
let me
go.
get. This is what I
Okay.
want to ask y'all.
All right.
So
'Cause I
basically,
wanna
do
go
you
there.
think? I know you do. Do you
You got
think?
one to
So
go
do
there.
you say we need investigation of our municipality?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always ask, I keep asking.
Independent.
No, I'm
Independent
definitely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
I'm like, you gotta show it
Absolutely.
to me in black and white. I want to see what it is that you're saying and why you have to spend as much money as you do in each one of those departments. That's me. I need to see that written down in front of me. Because you could tell me, well, we're going to spend $24 million on this. Well, why? Tell me why you're spending that. Is there any way that we could cut any money away from that? And my understanding, in order to get that $24 million, that was taken care of and was fully assessed so that you could see where the cuts in the budget can happen. You always can find a way to cut back, even if you in your own household, you can find a way to cut back on something to save a few
listen.
dollars.
Dude.
So why can't we do this with the city? It
Listen.
should happen the same exact way. I know hey, we need to do it. We need to think about it.
So help me with this. So when you
Help
say
us.
the cut back, but think about this, guys. So
Mm-hmm.
you have the DDA, and they have a budget, and the capital costs $35 million to be restored. And then you have the new hotel that was built, the matching funds with the help of Community Foundation. So how would that work? I'm just curious that they seem to be running, back to the bricks with the car show seems to be running in the red. So how do that, got a positive return on their investment. So I'm just curious, when we say that our municipality is in chaos, how is the downtown development seem to be balancing their book? Community Foundation is able to match funds with other groups to make sure a hotel is here. It's expensive to spend a night in. Just curious, where's on the radar, how did that,
How that make sense?
how that makes sense?
It doesn't.
How?
There's no way.
And-
So it seems
Right.
as if this is the thing that we have a thing with, and City Hall is being biased to how they're awarding contracts and who they're sitting at the table with, right? Who they're able to connect with other philanthropy groups to be able to have matching dollars.
Right.
You can get business done, stuff happens, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the people who there.
Yes.
So what we have in this administration right now has been really leaning towards one side. And
Yes.
so it's a dictatorship taking place
Yes.
where it's not very transparent and we're not built on truth, where you can say, hey, this is the money flow, this is our cash flow,
Yeah.
this is our expenses, right? As a city,
Right.
this is where we're going to spend things. But then also this is the vision for what we would like, the type of money that we need to bring in so we
Right,
can
right.
create spaces in these community
Right,
centers
right.
and these schools that's down, out, around and out. We
Right.
need to be able to reinvest in our community. With that $99 million, instead of, just talking about going into the general fund, we should have been looking at what type of economic opportunity are we building out for the residents? Not uptown, not downtown DDA, not none of them, not the Clinton Chamber of Commerce. I'm tired of them.
Yes.
What are we doing to activate grassroots groups and organizations, small businesses, entrepreneurs?
Yeah, right.
Getting the brick and mortar, repurposing some of these buildings on
Right.
North Saginaw, right?
Right,
To create African Town right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Down.
right.
Where is that type of vision when it comes to this city, in this administration. I guess I just want to throw that out there too, because you talked about numbers, you talk about dollars, and you talk
Yeah.
about EDA get work done.
Yeah.
It's because they have a plan,
Yes,
Right.
and then they're getting the support.
exactly.
Mhm.
And for other groups and other people, it don't seem so much so.
No, I mean, when you think about even farmers market, again, when you think about all of the entities that, and the school that back and had built in almost a year and a half, and they still building our old man temple. You think how crazy that is, they still trying to put together old man temple.
Mm-hmm.
They burned down, but they was able to put a school together in a year and a half. So,
Mhm.
and again, dollars don't lie. They always say follow the dollar.
They say follow.
And I think that's real simplistic when we want to be honest about it. So.
Yeah.
I think when, your task is monumental.
Yes.
My sister do all we can to put you in that position, and we praying prayerful that you don't
Thank you.
turn and go crazy like many people to get in this position.
Right.
Because a
Y'all
lot
want
of
to be
times-
accountable.
And I think that's what is very, very important, because most of us, just because they're your skin, don't mean they're your kin.
Come on
Yes,
now.
right.
We must be willing to, at least castrate them,
Mhm.
as much as possible if they get running crazy.
Well, can we talk about that? Cause can I go back?
Go back.
Cause I'm serious.
Go back.
I am disappointed. I am disheartened, and I am downright just mad about it. Like her Winfrey, I know you. It was my man, $100,000. This how you feel?
Mhm.
Like real, for real, real spill. This how you feel for real? This how your vote's going? Cause dude, you like the deciding vote every time for this bullshit. Like I don't understand it. I'm so perplexed. Like I don't understand it. No, listen,
She's
y'all.
perplexed,
I
bro.
am not. I am. That's why I've been sitting here like this. Cause I'm like, what? I'm reading this stuff. I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, hey, if it's a lie, and they wrote this lie about it, come talk to me. Can you come talk to me about it? Because if it's a lie and they wrote this, like, why you the swing vote every time? And why you the swing vote on the crap? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how. Here's my thing. This not just you. This not just you, her, but it's a whole lot of them that do this. You want to use religion. You want to use the whole God thing and the whatever, because I ain't knocking nobody's religion, whatever religion that it is that you are a part of, whatever entity or whatever. Listen, do your thing. Don't use that as your rhetoric to be talking that crap to us, and then you do this silly mess with these votes. Hey, you play silly games, you get silly prizes, right? And that's exactly what we doing. We playing silly games and we getting silly prizes because we being silly and we letting y'all silly selves get in these seats, and then we getting the silly prizes, right? And but the prize is not a prize. Like I'm not even understanding this. Like I'm not even understanding why we not being more careful about who we put in these seats. I'm not understanding how we not being more careful about this. And but please make me understand. I really want to. Look, dude, I'm calling you. Zach's your number. I'm calling you because I really want you to come talk to me, and I really want you to tell me, like, what's your deal, bro? What are you thinking? What's on your mind? Please make me understand this because I'm not understanding how you can sit in this seat and that's your vote.
Let me lay into him too.
Go for it.
Herb, listen, man,
Go
listen,
for it.
bro. And Herb, I called you on this too, man. Listen, man, you are disappointing us. And for somebody who had respect for you, and I'm telling you, man, I did have respect for you. Herb was my 8th grade basketball coach. Right? He was good on the coaching tip, and I appreciate you putting me in the game. But right now, man, listen, man, I'm just hurt. I'm disappointed with your actions. I'm disappointed with your voting.
You're right.
Your record. Right? I'm talking about what we saying, and we called you on the vote. We talked about these things. And you continue to vote with the administration. Even if it don't make sense. And then we make this about Christianity and making this about I'm doing this because this is what my religion told me to do. Man, there's nobody going for that. And we ain't gonna stand on that. When you talk about this is community. Take all the religion stuff out the way. Stop wearing the Jesus hats. Stop all the nonsense, man. Because listen, we out here dying.
Yes.
And quit lying on
hurt.
God.
We are being hurt because of your decisions. So you gotta realize, man, I know that you ain't looking to run no more. And you gonna sail off in the sea or whatever the hell you gonna do.
But
listen,
don't
man,
put
all
us
the
in the
actions-
gutter
all
doing
the
it.
actions that you're doing right
Sheesh.
now is gonna reflect bad on us in the future.
And you know, when you say that, the one,
I'm
you know,
heartbroken.
when
I
he
ain't gonna
first,
lie.
when he first did that, he should have been castrated for even
Mhm.
bringing up religion, because Malcolm
Yeah.
was clear. You know, Malcolm was devout, you know, he
Mhm.
died for it. But he said, listen, I'm willing to put my religion in the
Right.
closet so we can get in the gutter
Yes.
and work for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Sir Herb is working like Joe Manchin. You know, you think about it, he's doing the same thing Joe Manchin is doing in the Senate.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I can say about the Republicans, and that's why I got a problem with the Democrats. Republicans will be pit bulls. They get deep down, dirty, and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
These Negroes called Democrats, they keep wanting to be polite
Mm-hmm.
and mannerable.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to get, and like you said, we gotta start calling our own people out. It be your mother, your
Man.
father. We gotta
It be
call
our
people.
own people.
You gotta
It
call
be
them out,
our
man.
own people, man.
You know,
It
how
be
dare
our
you
own
gonna be at a
Mhm.
restaurant? I'll come in a restaurant, you in a
Sheesh.
restaurant. I'm supposed to go in a restaurant and speak to you when I know the way you roll. I can't do it.
Man,
Mm.
I gotta give you that look.
man.
What's wrong with you, Mr.
Mhm.
Roberts?
That's right. You
No
know
conversation.
what's wrong with me.
I'm walking out.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no conversation. Again, when you turn your back, that's telling a lot. You don't even have to open your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to be in a restaurant with you.
Man.
Right.
Real
It's
talk,
rough.
man.
Man, I'm serious.
I lost
I'm
my
heartbroken.
appetite.
I'm heartbroken.
I
I ain't
love
gonna
my
lie.
appetite.
5-year contract,
So
3
This-
years.
This is something that you know we really be talking about because you know it's very dissatisfying, and so we can't even speak on it enough. You know, we expect you to go up there and do a job. We expect for you to not be a crony. Like y'all boys moving like suckers, and I ain't never known that to be. Man, I'm just like
Listen
just
here.
like baffled by that, and you continue to keep doing the same mess.
In the name of
And you
God.
think that it's gonna be okay for you.
They lying on God.
So
And
you
even-
can't. No, this is the thing. You can't be using that religion stuff. We over that.
Over that.
We talking about humanity,
People,
Yeah.
people lives.
Right.
People lives, man.
and we can't mask it no more.
Can't,
We
man.
can't even allow you to walk around here and be comfortable when you're doing that type of stuff. So
No.
we should castrate you every time.
Right.
Every single
Drag you out in the
time.
streets, whip you up real quick, let you know what time it is. Listen, we can't stand for that. And everybody who's in elected official position, don't get it twisted.
Don't get it
You're in a
twisted.
public position, meaning
Right.
that you're gonna get scrutinized.
Right.
That's very true.
If you ain't doing your job,
Absolutely.
people are paying you.
Absolutely.
We paying you a
Absolutely.
salary. We paying you. We got objectives with you and goals that you need to be doing.
And we voted you in there.
We
And
voted
you
you in.
and you wanted to run and you claimed to want to help the people.
But listen, the thing is this
And
though,
we're in
you
turmoil.
you can't get upset when people saying that you are doing a horrible job.
Absolutely.
And when everybody else on the sideline looking at that stuff, talking about we beating up on folks,
Right.
black on black crime,
Right.
or all this other stuff, man. No, listen, man. If you're doing a terrible job, you're just doing a terrible job. You gonna hear it.
And we
And
gotta
me-
call those things as we see it.
And us,
That's
we
right.
as people, as the constituents, as the base
As your employer.
of the people,
We
right?
employ you. Don't get it
Absolutely.
twisted.
We must call that out every time. It doesn't matter if it's Sheldon, if it's his wife, because trust me, you ain't heard his wife in 2 years.
2 years.
That woman has, and Cynthia, listen, I know you just got pushed into that position. I know you want to go do some hair. I know you ain't thinking about preparing no bills, sitting up in that chamber, doing some talking or advocating for some people that you know you ain't really tripping about. Come on now. We got to be serious about this. But the simple fact, you should bow down and say, you know what, I'm not even going to waste this space. I'm going to go ahead and give it to somebody who cares.
Who cares?
I'm going to let somebody go ahead and do the work or
Absolutely.
the job that they should be doing because I'm not doing it. And we will respect you for it, we appreciate you for it, and we will understand. But this is where it comes serious for us now, moving forward, when we have these figures in place
Mm-hmm.
that don't represent you, and you ain't doing nothing about it,
Mm-hmm.
you better not say nothing.
At all. So
That's right.
I agree wholeheartedly, but even more to that, why you acting like you wasn't a product of this city? Why you act like you didn't live here? Why you acting like it's just like all of this stuff just came out of nowhere? And then so for you to sit in that seat being a product of this city And for you to swing it like that, we already in turmoil. We hurting. We are hurting already. And you just hurt us more. Dude, you could spit in my face and I would have been less disappointed. Goodness gracious.
Nah, you might
I'm,
got ass whooped
no,
on
listen.
that.
No, listen.
You ain't got to put
No,
the ass
no,
on
no,
that.
No, listen, no, let me tell you something. Listen, I'm dead ass. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying to you. Because this is a man that I've been knowing for a long time. And he was, and from everything that he was always a stand-up dude. Always. And for me to be knowing this man from to here,
I'm trying to tell you.
and that has always been a stand-up dude. You don't understand how that just cut that. Hey, you cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me deep.
Man,
I'm serious. Y'all think I'm playing, and I had to say it that deep because that's exactly how I feel about it. That hurt me.
Herb, you hear the pain.
That
in the
hurt
verse.
me.
You hear the pain.
That hurt me for real.
Herb, listen, get on the line. We need to
Damn.
bring you in the show.
That hurt
You need
me
to,
for
hold on,
real.
listen.
Brother Roberts,
you
that
need to
hurt me.
explain
Yeah,
yourself.
I feel it. Yeah.
You need to
Come on.
explain yourself.
Right.
Herb, listen.
That hurt
listen,
me.
Listen.
I'm not
Deacon
lying.
Winfrey. Deacon Winfrey. Listen.
Minister. He's a minister.
He's a
Oh,
minister.
man.
Yeah, minister.
Bishop Winfrey.
Bishop?
Minister.
Bishop.
At my church.
Oh, he ministered your church?
Bishop Deacon Winfrey.
Satan.
Satan.
Y'all see why it cut me so deep?
Satan.
Cut me deep, Shrek.
I'm just gonna say
Listen.
like
Cut me deep.
Right.
I'm dead ass. Y'all
Minister-
think I'm being
Minister-
funny? I'm serious.
Minister Winfrey. Evangelist Winfrey. I don't know. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Listen, we're going to call you up. After this show, I'm going to call you up, man. Listen, you need to come up in the show,
Come talk to me.
and you need to explain to the American people. You know when you talk to American people. You're on the zone.
Right.
Listen, you need
Well,
to
keep it
speak-
going. Keep it
You need
going.
to speak to the American people, man, and let us know. Listen, bro, listen, man. You need to tell and explain what the hell you doing up here, right? You know what I'm saying? Because after a while, man, it ain't no faking and shaking. You know, everybody is seeing through this stuff. I don't know if they done paid you off, they gave you a retirement package, but you know, this is something that we
Allegedly.
Allegedly gave you a retirement
Allegedly.
package. Now listen,
Gonna
now,
lose the
you know,
channel.
let us know what the numbers is. Maybe we can understand. You know what I'm saying?
Allegedly. People might throw lawsuits allegedly.
Allegedly. I heard though. No,
I need
seriously,
some answers. I'm hurt.
we need you to
I've
come
heard.
in. We need you to come in as a public figure representing the Sixth Ward right now. We need you to come in and speak on this, man, because your voting record thus far has been terrible.
Trash.
Terrible.
Garbage truck juice.
And we got to call
Oh,
it out.
but y'all got to remember,
Yeah.
Neely put him in that seat.
Yeah, I know. Neely did
Yeah,
put
he
him
did
in the
appoint him in
seat.
there
So he
when
just
he
doing.
left.
Listen, Neely, you gotta understand, Neely is a good con artist. Right? He's doing really good. I gotta give it to him. You gotta give credit due, right? The brother is definitely a good con artist. So you didn't gave her the seat for the Sixth Ward. You want to keep that in? Okay. And you push your wife in the state rep position so she can finish your work there. I can see what this type of flow going on. But I just want the people to really see the outcome of all this. Because y'all voted for this, right? They just didn't get there, right? You know what I'm saying? The people is voting for the people to stay there.
And my question to you, Juwan, when you say about, even, sending out the request to Brother, Herb, because you say about explain, I think his explanation is clear in his deeds. He's explaining every time he votes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you prepare him with the mentality of those priests with those little boys, I mean, he's akin to that kind of behavior. I think that's not no allegation.
No.
When you think about the kind of pain that, especially many of us that knew him as we were young growing up, because when we're looking for strong black men, he was one of them. And then when you become compromised, and again, throughout our history of the people, and that's why I'm an advocate of history. And so often you see those men and women that would not compromise and those that did. And this is at the crossroads that we at. And then there has to be accountability for that. So Sister Muhammad, I'm sorry, we did get on.
Nope, I'm
He
listening.
ain't saying nothing for the past 20 minutes.
I'm like,
Sorry for that.
oh, you fine. No, you are.
Oh, so
I
now,
heard
I really
it.
got,
I
hold
heard
on,
it.
let me throw this on the table too, right?
Okay,
I got another problem, right?
yes, sir.
I got a problem with people, you know, who are flip-flopping in this city, who don't stand up or who don't stand for nothing. And when they see sucker stuff going on, they tend to fall in line with sucker stuff, right? You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? And we talk about, Brother Robert just talked about being strong men. Now these young brothers and sisters, they need strong people. They need strong black men and women
Yes.
to stand up and do the job, right?
Yes,
They don't need you buckling down. They don't need you trying to, you know, stick your head in somebody else's butt for some dollars.
Yes, sir, boss.
We don't need them to be sitting up here trying to rub and be tokenism, right? Be symbolic of some stuff that we don't want, right? This is where we at now. And we calling that out and we standing strong on it. And we just not dealing with you like that. And you gonna feel this type of energy when you come around. It's like a snitch in the street, right?
Yes.
You done ratted on somebody and then you try to come around the team, right?
Mm.
But
Right.
we know that you got bad paperwork out here though. We know that you fought you, right?
Right,
And we know that we can't deal with you like that. So we gonna treat you like that, right? This is the same thing when you stabbing each other in the back, right?
Yes, sir.
When you're selling your people off, right? When you're doing some irrational activity and behavior, just not exemplifying strong male or brotherhood or sisterhood or others' culture, it's really simple. That's what they just call it.
Absolutely.
It's
Right.
really simple.
It is.
When you
Sucker
doing that
stroking.
type, sucker stroking,
Yeah.
when you doing that type of stuff, everybody see you.
That's
So I
right.
don't understand that you can't come around somebody like me and then you've been doing all this type of stuff and then you gonna feel a certain type of energy.
That's
Because it
right.
doesn't rub people well.
It doesn't.
And we have had enough of that type of behavior. We had enough of that stuff. So you folks that be on, you folks that be in the chat, you folks that be in city council meetings, you folks that just be out here running around like, you know, you're supportive or you're talking positive or you want to move the city forward, but you're doing things that don't represent that, we got a problem with you.
Yes.
And like everything and everybody that, you know, we truly embrace and we respect, we love them because of what they stand for.
It's
So I
true.
just want to make sure I streamline that message. When you out here as a public figure, or we just a member of the community, you're an activist, you're a youth, right? Or you're the elder, right?
Right.
We expect for you to exemplify and work and move through, you know, corrective character is what we call it, right?
Yes.
We want you to exemplify the character. And that's what we have a lack of in the city, and that's why we be having this bickering back and forth. But this is why we're in the position we're in. This
Yes,
is
sir.
a lack of character.
But it's a disservice if we don't call it out. It's a disservice to,
It
if
is.
we can't continue to say that we care about Flint and we don't call that out. So it's a disservice that we doing to Flint. We hollering that we care and we love so much, but we not calling these things out and we not holding you accountable. And we all should be doing that. The whole city of Flint should be holding everybody accountable. We all
Yes.
should be down there. We all should be pissed off. We all should be calling him out. We all should be when we see him in the grocery store, wherever. Like, hey, what up? Her? What's the deal? What's going on? Or hey, whomever you have an issue with, or whomever you have a problem with, we all need to be calling that out. And so I don't want to be the one that's doing a disservice by not saying that, because I really want to be just as transparent as everybody else to let you know, dude, you cut me deep with that. Now I can't continue to keep reading this, and I'm like, oh no, man, cause I use my man $100,000, like I'm $100,000, and this is how you do. I feel crazy about that, and I can't even advocate for you. I can't, cause what? How am I fight? How can I fight that? How can I even come to your defense about that? Cause that shit is crazy. It don't even make sense. It makes zero sense at all, and I'm not understanding that.
But to help you to understand it, my queen, I think it's clear because we're in a city that is ran by white people. You know, when you look at the court system downtown, all of the white judges, and you think about the amount of time that they sentence black and brown people to as opposed to Europeans.
Yes.
You look about Swanson down there at the sheriff department and the dehumanizing situation that our men and women are going through in that county jail.
Come on now. You know.
And you look at the child support system, and you look at the Flint to Peace Department, and you look at this so-called tokenism, because the mayor and the city council position are tokenism. They don't even, a lot of times they are functionary, meaning they are regulated to the balls when they have the mayor's ball.
Yeah.
They bring out Negroes and polish them up.
All right, say it.
You got them by the balls.
Got him.
Yeah.
At the ball.
At the ball.
Juneteenth, we
At the
we
ball,
bring
at
out
the ball.
we bring out Negroes
At
out
the
of
balls.
Juneteenth and polish them up, and then like Swanson was on television as the Great White Crusader that was saving.
The Great
And
White House.
again, so my
The
question
Great
to
White House.
my
Y'all need to stop that damn thing come in your
my
church.
question to my answer to my sister is that until we're gonna really face the overarching situation is again, man, it's the entrance bigotry and white supremacy that we continue to deal with, because we have Negroes that look like me and you
Yeah.
that bow down to their overseers, and they are placed in these positions to do the mandate and the business of their white slave masters.
Hey,
That's
Chris,
the answer.
I gotta give it to man. Chris said, man, there are more women fighting than men.
Oh,
Right now.
yeah.
Let's
That's
give
right.
a big round of applause for our
That's
women. They be out
So,
doing
so what do you feel though, Sister Muhammad? What you got to say?
Say, Chris, I'ma die on my feet, not on my knees.
That's right.
That's right. We're gonna down on our feet.
So
and
how
down on our
you
knees.
feel?
I
So
like
how you
that.
feel? You got any parting shots you want to give?
You know, I look at the vote, and I hate to say it, because I like, as a person, I like Councilman Winfrey. I do, I really do. But he has been a swing vote for a long time. Even when Maurice Davis was swaying in the other direction, if Maurice Davis leaned this way, he went that way. And always made it sure it was still safe and it was still secured on that other side. There was a lot of votes that should not have passed through. There was a couple of times they skated on the edge. Now Maurice has swung back all the way in a direction that's more toward our community. Herbert Winfrey, it depends on what it is. If he's gonna vote with our community or he's not. The trash contract was a big, major decision.
Yes. Yes.
Those big, major decisions is what we need him to be in respect of the community.
And not
The
Clarence
poor.
Thomas.
Oh, right, okay.
We
Go.
get you.
So,
Clarence Thomas
but like
been
I
on
said,
Supreme
as a
Court for
person,
40
I
years
love
to
him.
ask the question in 40
he has
years.
a very beautiful personality as a person. But the vote, we need you to come back and make sound decisions for our community. I mean, I fell asleep on the council meeting the other night. I was so exhausted. But the next morning I wake up and I'm like, well, what happened last
They
night?
still on. They still on. And Herb ain't answer no questions. Herb is sitting up there like Clarence. Herb,
Right.
man. Herb, bro. Man, listen, man. He did.
Right.
He ain't even tripping about
Right,
it.
exactly.
You're collecting the check, man. I know you thinking about what's next.
Two
Come on.
checks.
We gotta change. This is another narrative we gotta change. We need to change the direction of the dynamic, the demographics of this community. In Flint, we're down to 54% black. It's down quite a
You
bit.
said what?
The last census that I saw from 2019 or 2020, Flint is only 54% black.
Only, we still got 4%. Come on, y'all, get yourself together.
Oh my God. I don't
Now,
know about
no,
that.
this is the blow.
Lord.
The county, in the county, we're less than 20% black.
Oh my God.
Which means many of our county seats are not picked up by us. If you all went to the redistricting committee meeting that we had, there's 5 people that's making decisions concerning that commission. And none of those people live inside of the city of Flint or are black. They don't represent us. However, many of us are not paying attention to that. We don't see those different things and how important it is for us to do different things. Like you say, with your children, they're not going to school here in the city of Flint. We got to get more instrumental and making sure. I'm skating on influencing for my grandchildren to go to the Flint public schools, but they're going to be online and at home. So we got to go back to what we used to do a long time ago. We know that they took out of the schools certain things, and we were brought over here as indigent workers and not servants instead of the slave trade. But we need people like Brother Naeem to come in and teach. We know that ain't true. We need people like Sister Satara to come in and teach. That ain't true. Brother DeWine and you, Brother Mickey, we need people to come in and teach our children and make sure that they get the proper education. They can get the basics in school,
Right.
but when they come home,
Practical.
the village got to make sure that
That's
our
right.
children is taken care of,
That's right.
whether they teach it in school or not.
That's right.
Many of the basic life skills are not taught in the schools.
I'm not.
Does that mean that you as a parent don't teach your child how to cook,
Clean,
or how to clean,
Come on.
or how to budget?
bathe.
You still have a responsibility at home, or find someone who is responsible that you can depend on to help you to be able to teach that to your children.
Instead of trying to be a stripper or trying to be a pimp, you know,
A drug dealer,
a drug dealer,
a thief.
a
I
thief.
think
Man,
we gotta teach
Instead of
them.
being drugged up, like, you know.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Drugged up.
Like, man,
Man.
listen, man, while we out here having a good time playing,
Right.
and they out there taking these seeds,
Right.
getting the population shift going on, right? You know what's going on.
And throwing out distractions, because we get it.
distractions.
And as we get distracted, they going in and making other decisions. They throwing us a bone like, okay, we shouldn't even have to be fighting for human rights.
Right.
not
In
at
this
all.
day and time,
Not
when
at
you
all.
go back to 1968, when they started the poisoning of the food and the waters,
Come on.
we was fighting for fair housing. Fair housing is a human right.
Come on.
Water is a human right.
Come
So
on.
what are they fighting and taking away from us now that we fight for water?
Come
Water,
on.
That's a human right.
housing,
Housing,
Housing again,
education,
education,
Yep.
job,
jobs, what
and
else?
And your body.
And your body. We still trying to fight for just basic human needs.
Leave us alone.
Leave us alone. We know. While we was up there fighting for Flint, this is the honest to God truth. Went on a bus, we went to up to Lansing. We're in there out there protesting about the water. There wasn't that many of us that day.
sad.
I said, hey, Mark, peek that door over there. You know what they over there in there was fighting for? Privatizing mental health.
Yes.
While we was fighting for water, because we saying water is a basic necessity, they robbing us blind. Our politicians robbing us blind. Because many of us don't know it. And guess what? That's where that transparency should have kicked in and somebody should have told us.
And you know what, when
You
you say
would
that,
think.
and that's the whole reason back to the plantation, because it's been ingrained in them in supremacy to make
Yes.
sure that we fighting over crumbs
Yes.
while they making sure that their generation, they're plugged in, because they say smaller government, but all of them work for government.
Yes, that's
And
right.
then if not for government, they get contracts through the government.
Yes.
So when you think about privatizing mental health, privatizing education,
Right.
everything is a commodity. Healthcare. That's why the healthcare is so screwed up. Because once you commodize something and make it profit based, again, you take the element out where it's humane for everybody.
Right.
And again,
Exactly.
that's how you can exclude those with no insurance, those with insurance, and you can pit a masked person against a no masked person or a vaccinated person against a vaccinated person, because you develop that fear,
Yeah.
continue to perpetuate that fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hector Garcia, you know, a lot of times people, that's why history is so important, man. You think about it, man, because the Alamo was fought over slavery. Even in Texas today, they want to say the
Yeah.
Alamo had nothing to do with slavery. And again, my sister was in Germany, and again, understand, if you really understand, that's why history is important. You cannot hold up a swastika or anything to deal with Hitler in Germany.
Cannot.
You be hit.
Cannot.
They
Yes.
not playing with you.
At all. You can't even talk about it.
Hey, listen, they not playing with you.
No.
In China, 1.7 billion people. They got less than 185,000 people in their jails and in their prison. How could that be possible when you think about the population of that country?
Right.
And they have less than 2% of anybody being murdered every
Right.
year. When you think about our country and then bringing it back to our responsibility, like the sister was saying, about we come from people, first people on the planet. We have invented things out of nothing. Out of nothing, guys. And many of us have been influenced by our parents, great-grandparents, and then great-great-grandparents, and then the diaspora. And those things that was happening in the diaspora are in us today.
Yes.
And we need to infuse that. That's why I was asking Sister Muhammad, who are the stakeholders in your community, those churches, getting them on board with after-school activities? When you think about debate teams and fencing and swimming and roller skating and flying kites, I started a program and it was called, and what we did was, we hugged the students as they getting off the bus, going into the schools, man. We did that for 3 years before COVID. I just came up with the idea because I just was getting frustrated about what I was doing in the school with the mentoring and how these children was behaving. And once we started hugging them, in the morning, we up there 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, man, and you can see throughout the day how these children behavior and mannerism change, and they start looking forward to us hugging them. And those little simple things, man, are impactful. And before we close out, we must kind of leave on a positive note as far as even with Winfrey and Neely and all of our people that are established volunteer agents. You know, there are places for you. There are places for you. And we're going to strap some dynamite on.
I'm glad I wasn't drinking.
I'm glad this is a good moment we leaving out on.
Listen,
I'm second that though, man. I gotta be honest with you, man. Brothers really
totally
talking
feel
some
you.
real stuff.
And
We really do have to really start holding
do.
folks accountable.
we do.
And I know we talk about on the positive. No, I know.
Well,
I know. I was
This is
saying.
positive.
I'm about. The thing is this though. It's like man. In all actuality, that's holding accountability, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We gotta do those things.
Right.
You know, we not trying to dog nobody out. We
Right.
ain't trying to just cut you up and talk bad about you. But it's like when you're doing things that go against what we need and you hurt us, it's like we speaking from that place, right? We speaking from a place of dissatisfaction.
Right.
And so you really have to understand, like, listen to the words of the people. The people be telling you these things, right? So when we talking about that, we talking about holding accountability for our elected officials. Sheldon, Winfrey, the door's open for y'all to come in, even talk and have these
Please come in.
conversations. Even if you got something to say, like, you know, you need to clarify a point or something. You want to tell us why you voting this way, Herb. Tell us, Neely, why you underscored the budget and you know what you were doing. Right? We just, these are questions that we just want to know. But this helps us and clarifies, but it gives greater insight.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
And I think in that frame of mind, you know, we all are standing on our ancestors.
Come on,
And we
man.
can't forget that, guys.
Come on.
A lot of times we getting caught up on today's life and don't realize, you know, thousands of years ago, and, you know, Mansa Musa and Imhotep, you know, when you think about, you know, all our great warriors and all the things that, from Hannibal to many of the people that have came before us, guys, we all are standing on
Come
their
on
shoulders.
now.
So none of us are perfect. I expect to be critiqued by any of us and anyone in the community. We should receive critique.
Mm-hmm.
And just no one way is always the right way. We need to be able to compromise and work together. And if we're transparent, I think money and position and power has just corrupted our thinking so viciously that we've had lost so much sight of humanity and how to be humane towards each other. But I am committed to, you know, like you said, we really got to get to castrating and blowing people up.
Absolutely. And with that being said, I am personally on the stance that if you are in these positions or you are even wanting to be in these positions and you don't have the heart of the city in place or in mind or any of that, we don't need you.
Resign.
We don't need you. Not even resign. Don't even run.
Don't run.
Because if I get a little wind of that, I'm calling that out. You can call it bashing. You can call it whatever you want to. But I am 100% wholeheartedly for standing on what I believe in. And when I said what I said, don't run. Don't run. Don't do any of that. And if those are the type of voting and things that you're gonna do, then just leave. Go on back to Flushing or Clio or wherever the heck you want to live at.
Township.
The township, all of those things. If that's how you feel and that's what you want to do, then do that and go vote on their panel. Go to their city council if they got one. Go vote on that stuff. Stay about our city with that foolishness. We don't want these silly prizes that you're getting. And everybody that's voting, if you don't want these silly prizes, stop playing the silly games with them. Flat out. We got to do better.
And the township, and again, mention something, man. Have you guys experienced something so wonderful? The township roads are immaculate.
Aren't they?
I mean, really, man, it's just, you just want I ride a motorcycle, man, and I just go out there just to ride on it. Y'all laughing.
No, I'm saying, I believe
We
you.
don't want you following me.
Yeah,
I go out there just to experience. I just go out there and experience a smooth road.
No, I believe you. I'm with you with that. Cause Flint looked like it's been hit by a little hurricane or something.
Exactly.
Earthquake. I know I done paid for some tires.
I mean, really, man.
Right.
So when we think about, as we close out again, we must really vilify, the NAACP has not been a part of our community, and I must stand on that tremendously. We need to start calling our so-called these indices or organizations that have abandoned us, because we need everybody on board. We need all of us on board.
Whatever happened to the Urban League?
We need all of us on board.
I haven't heard that mentioned in like
We need all of us on board.
We need everybody on board. Like
Yeah, they just like, I think they went like the NAACP.
Once you gotta remember, guys, once Black Lives Matter or anything black, white people start pulling their money out, much of the money that NAACP and Urban League was getting was from white people. So let's just be honest about it.
So that would bring us to our next point, though. If you really appreciate the conversation and you appreciate this platform, we do accept donations. Like we said, I think everybody in the city of Flint should be contributing to our causes. And I'm talking about our cause as a collective. So when we saying these things and having these conversations and open it up for discussions and, just getting some points of clarity out. We do appreciate all the resources and all the support because of you is why we are.
Right.
We talk about our ancestors. I am because they were.
That's right.
And so now, I have to do our due diligence and doing for the ancestors and working on their behalf and also making sure that I make a way for the next generation that comes up after me, right? So that's our role, and it's gonna take resources, it's gonna take us contributing, it's gonna take us donating. And when we talk about black dollars, we talk about really planting the seed into black organizations so they flourish.
Right.
Just like we did with Call My Eye, just like we talk about what we need with Fli-City Blackout. Everything counts. So when we have all this money flowing around that it is, make sure that we're doing something with it so then at least we put ourselves in position.
Yes.
And we don't succumb to the pressures of mass media telling our story or other folks around town trying to tell our story.
Right.
Let's make sure that we donate towards the cause. So when you see when you see that strip down at the bottom with the Cash App information,
Throw that up there for us, please.
please make a contribution. Also, the PayPal information as well. Please, make those contributions. And then as well, we need you to subscribe to the channel because this is how it continues to get out there and folks understand what's available and really kind of catch it if you can't catch it live. So we appreciate all the, and we all want the best for the city. We all, on the front lines, we all be doing the work. So I think, what I'm saying, this is well warranted that we feel like it.
Let's let her have some final comments.
My final comments is please call me, talk to me, come out and walk through the streets with me. You will get to know who I am and you will have a better view of who I am. We want you to vote on November the 2nd. I want you to vote for me, Audrey Young Muhammad. I'm Audrey Young on the ballot. Please get out and vote. Keyword is vote. We want you to come out and support us this Sunday. You'll see some of the other things that we have that's going on in the community. We've been out working and doing things. It didn't start with the campaign season, and it ain't gonna end with campaign season. So the location for the block party is Sunday from 2 to 6 at 3119 Kirkwood Lane, and is located off of McClellan near the intersection of McClellan and Brownell. We also want you to volunteer with us and help us with a community cleanup on the 18th. That will be from 9 until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon next Saturday on September the 18th. And the location is at 1401 Patterson, 1402 Welch. And the side street is Lloyd. So we're going to be between those two streets. We're going to have dumpsters out there, things, refreshments, and everything. So please come out and join us. Keyword is vote. Vote November the 2nd. Please vote Audrey Young for 2nd Ward City Council.
Tamia has a donation for the block party on Sunday, so
Okay,
really
thank you.
appreciate you, Mama.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tamia.
dear.
Really do.
And I want to close out with, and again, I hope I can, we want to be clear. The FBI did a report in 2018, black extremists being the #1 threat to the United States. I think I'd like to share that report sometime in the future.
Yeah.
And then also, we must really be extremely engaged in, understanding our commitment to the community, guys. I think we
Yes.
really need to be wholeheartedly, in with what we wanted to do in our community as a whole, and try to bridge some of the gaps that we find ourselves in.
Yes.
And all of us can do better in certain areas. Again, none of us are perfect. So I really want to just commend those of people on the front line right now that a lot of times you never hear anything about.
Mm-hmm.
We want to just keep encouraging and holding each other up, for that which is good, and I think that's very, very, very important.
Yes, sir.
So as we close this segment out, we definitely want to make sure we reiterate this Sunday. We'll be doing the Second Ward Block Party for education. We'll be out there featuring Second Ward candidate, Sister Audrey Young. And we'll be just talking about these different things in the mission that we like to accomplish, as well as just really just the commitment towards the city, and just making sure that, we move Flint in a positive direction. And I hope that everybody is fully, wholeheartedly engaged in that. So, we greatly appreciate you coming
I
up.
thank
doing
you
your
all for
thing, man.
having me.
Mhm.
I do.
Definitely.
She'll be canvassing in the streets too Friday,
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes, we will. We'll be out there.
So if you're available, we'll see you in the Second Ward. We may knock on your door.
That's
Make sure
right.
you come on, have some tea for us, and we'll be ready to chat.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly. Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll see us out there all day tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah,
Like you
that-
said, we greatly appreciate your time, and we look forward to see y'all next Thursday at 6 p.m.
All right.
All right.
Peace,
We're
love,
early.